What the fuck? This fucking pneumonia is kicking my ass. I'm all good with that, but it appears that I'm going to have this cough for a couple more weeks. Talked to a doc and he was just like, he goes, it's what happens. You know, the lungs fill with fucking fluid. And it takes a while to get that shit up. You're just like, you know, just make sure you get outside every, as much as you can. It's a little cold right now, but you know, definitely, definitely take care of that shit. And I was like, I'm outside every day. Going for tea, bitch. This company pretty much went out of business. Nobody actually buys it, and to me it's the most effective thing for fucking UTIs. That's a story for another day. Anyway, a certain someone an old friend, I don't know, it just stops. I'm fucking around the garage and he was just like, dude. I'm like, what's going on? And he was like, you know what? It's like, I always see you out here, man. I'm always zipping by and shit like that. And he's like, I'm sorry I never stopped. Now you gotta understand, this guy, I hung out with him quite a bit. I won't call his name out, but still. Once again, things are just fucked up. You get injured and things change. People want to create the illusion that nothing has really changed. Well, nothing has changed in their life. Or maybe it has, or whatever the fuck it is. I mean, right now is different from fucking 10 seconds ago. These are facts we know to be true. Anyway, I was talking to this dude. Now, I had seen this guy once before. He had came in when I was actually in Kessler. Whole ventilator thing and stuff like that, and once again he was just like, I wanted to come over and see you, see how you're holding up, and he was just like, he goes, and I was really sort of freaked out by the whole thing. I had spoken to a few people. They said you weren't doing all that great, and so I figured I'd have to muster up the balls one day and come on by, and so today's the day. He hung out for like 5 minutes, maybe 10. Seemed like 5. Well, that was 13 years ago. Now you gotta understand, I didn't hang out with this kid every fucking day, fucking 50-something-year-old guy. It was like, you know what, but I had a few minutes today, and I was driving by, I was like, looked over, the garage was open, you were inside, I'm like, dude, I'm always out here, and I'm outside every day. Fresh air and sunshine can't be beat, man. Keep yourself fucking busy, find something to do, fuck with something. Anyway, so I'm talking to him for a little bit. I don't know where he goes, God damn it. He goes, you look fantastic. I'm like, a little chubby. I go, I guess other than this fucking wheelchair and certain things. I go, I try to keep a positive attitude. He was just like, he goes, my God. He's like, I don't know how the fuck you pull it off, man. He goes, I don't know what I would do. I'm like, dude, nobody fucking knows what to do. There's no fucking rule book. You pretty much, you're in a hospital, and you go to a rehab, and they're like, boom, go get them, boss. They give you this much information on spinal cord injury and the effects and what to expect or what not to expect. And to me, if you ask me, considering I was at a place that is, in theory, renowned for spinal cord injury rehabilitation and everything else like that, you would think that they would give you more of an education. And there was a class that went on once a week. So, after, the first week I didn't go, I was like, what the hell is that? I didn't have any idea. The second time I sat in, and, I listened to certain things, but even though there was people there that were all fucked up, they didn't really tell you a lot about things going on, like the frequency of UTIs, autonomic dysreflexia. They don't cover any of that shit. Susceptibility to certain things you do, things you gotta do, things whatever, remaining active, trying to do whatever it is, you know, but very vague. They barely touched the tip of the fucking iceberg. That's, you know, that's a story for another day once again. So I'm talking to this dude and he's just like, you know, he's basically blowing smoke up my fucking ass. And he was just like, he goes, dude, my God, he goes, man, looking at you, he goes, this is the thing that cracks me up. He goes, shit, man, I guess it's really not all that bad. And I looked at him and I'm like, excuse me? He goes, well, he goes, look at you, man. He goes, you got your shop, you got shit going on. He was just like, dude, it's just like you just sort of shifted. And I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And he gives me a look like, what? And I was like, what are you, fucking retarded? I'm like, I'm not dead. Oh, but for the grace of God, I'm not fucking dead. I go, but the fact that you just told me that you zip up and down this street every so now and again and you see me, and you've seen me over the years, and you finally decided to stop by, I go, for what? What do you want? He was like, well, dude, I just wanted to say hello. I was just like, hello. And now, I was in a fucking, not exactly the most cheeriest of fucking moods that day. This is a couple weeks back, after I found the whole fucking pneumonia thing, and, you know, I was working through that shit. And he was just like, dude, you know, it's, you know, being such a dick for. I was like, what am I being such a dick for? You're up and down here all the time. I'm in a fucking chair. Do you think every now and then perhaps maybe I would need a hand doing something? Or perhaps maybe a phone call? Perhaps maybe a fucking, I don't know. You know, dude, we were fucking thick as thieves. And now, because I'm no longer out and about and doing shit and see you every now and then, you know, this kid, I helped him fucking basically put an addition on his fucking house. Helped him scrape the fucking house for fucking a paint job that he was doing. I put in a keystone wall at his place. I never asked for a fucking nickel. I always sheetrocked the entire fucking inside of the house. I never asked for a fucking nickel because I was working for a friend. I wasn't working for a friend, I was helping a friend. And I looked at him and I was just like, dude, I go, after all this shit that we've been through, and I know before, you know, we were fucking, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of bang, bang, boom, boom, whatever the fuck it is. Whatever we needed, we helped each other out. He was just like, well, you know, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I'm like, but you came in today and you said hello. I was like, you want to do something? I was like, you know what? Here, I'll call you up. You know, I'm like, you know, maybe you lost my phone number. His phone rings. Oh my God, yeah, it's my phone number. And I was just like, you've had my fucking number for years. You've known the situation I've been in for years. You said to me yourself that you've spoken to other people and, you know, shit happens. You have to realize that this situation is completely different from the person that I was. Maybe physically, from like fucking here up, I look the same. And maybe my attitude is a little more fucking rough. It's only because shit goes on. And I deal with shit that I have, you know, I do need hands with. I was like, but fuck it, there's nobody really sitting there waiting to help you out with something. So I do it my fucking self. I was like, there's 1,000 times I thought about calling you, but I didn't want to fucking bother you. I was like, and there's several times I did call you. No return phone calls. I left messages, I texted you and shit like that. I go, I got fucking nothing. Now you come here because you got a few extra fucking minutes? I was like, why don't you take those couple extra minutes and go to your house and clean up your fucking yard? It looks like shit. Oh, I haven't had time, I can't get to that shit. And, you know, obviously it's snowing out. And he was just like, you know, he was like, but, you know, I'll definitely keep in touch. I'm like, yeah, I'll hold my fucking breath. And his fucking face is flush and everything else I got. And, you know, did I make him feel guilty? You're fucked right I did. Now, maybe that's a bit of a douchebag attitude, but what the fuck? This motherfucker, when he used to need shit, he would call me. This motherfucker broke his shit up once. about 100 years ago, I was the one at his house going like this. How you holding up? What's going on? What do you need? You know, not that he really needed anything huge, but I made sure to get in touch with him at least once a week. This is for 4 months. And him saying, dude, you're the only one that fucking called me. And I was just like, yeah, when people get fucked up, they fall out of existence. I go, remind you of anybody? I go, motherfucker, you know what a real friend is? A real friend is not there when everything is warm and fuzzy and fucking fun. I go, that's just jerk-offs. Those associates, you know, that you sit there, maybe you drink a beer with once a month or some shit like that. You know them. They're cool dudes and stuff like that, but they're not really your friends. Your friends are the ones that are there when things are fucked up and you're in the muck and mire and that person jumps into that ditch with you and it's muddy, it's too fucking hot, you know, you're broken fingers, maybe you fucking cut yourself or whatever, and they push you out of the way and they go over there and do that, I'll take care of this sucks. That's what a friend is. I was like, if you want, I'm available most of the time. I'm always here. Well, that was about 3 weeks ago. Tick, tick, tick. Friends are hard to find. I used to have 1,000. Then as you get older, you know, your friends obviously grow up, you know, your families and shit like that and stuff like that. So then maybe you have 15. And time is fucked up and, you know, things do happen and stuff like that. And I get that. You know, but then it seems to me now I have about 3 or 4. Now, once again, it's not unusual. But the people that were, in theory, my friends, weren't really my friends. People I knew. People that, you know, came in like fucking Tarzan when there was a problem. People that would call me when there was a situation going on. Or, you know, make sure that I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks. Just keep an eye on the house. You know, I'm going to be gone for 2 days. Just can you come over and feed the dog and, you know, whatever. Yes, 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 and yes. And what do we get back in return? That's one of the problems with quadriplegia. You become a fucking ghost. And a lot of the times, even when you're there, you're completely fucking invisible. Unless you have a big fucking mouth. Well, then people think you're an asshole. Hey, that's my fate. There's a reason I call myself the Angry Quad. It's because people and things piss me the fuck off. That shouldn't. And that goes for people in the medical community, doctors, nurses, and all the rest of that shit. They're just going to work, doing whatever they were doing and stuff like that. I have one doctor who's a god. Every time I see him or he sees me, he's just like, what's going on? How you holding up? What do you need? I'll call him up. I called him up a couple weeks ago. I need a battery of antibiotics. Boom, 10 minutes later, game over. I call him my drug dealer, but I don't really, I'm not a big fan of script medicines and shit like that, but I have a great fucking attitude for the fucking situation I found myself in. What I don't have a great attitude for are these, air quotes, so-called friends. Yeah, right. Why do you think if anybody reaches out to me that I make sure that I contact them back? Somebody has a question, somebody just wants to chit-chat, somebody whatever the fuck it is. I always do my best to get back in touch with them. If this is the new community I'm in, I'm going to exactly take this community and my attitude and the way I am towards my life that I used to have before I died and was transformed into this fucking body. Yeah, I didn't change. Not at all. Not whatsoever. Later.